All right. I want to move to the next slide. Sorry, the next slide. Specifically, on this slide, do you see a message with an individual by the name of Javon Fleetwood?
I do.
And are you familiar with that individual?
I am.
And how are you familiar with that individual?
He's a member of YSL.
Okay. And as a part of your investigation, have you had the occasion to investigate a shooting involving Mr. Fleetwood, where he is been charged with aggravated assault?
Yeah, I wasn't the lead investigator, but I had a chance to review the investigation.
Okay. And did you have an opportunity to prep that case for trial at any point?
I did.
Right. What were the charges that he was preparing for to go to trial on?
I believe it was aggravated assault.
Okay. And do you know the approximate date of the incident in which he was being charged with?
I believe it was May 10th of 2019.
Okay. And in that May 10th, 2019, was there a vehicle associated with that ag assault?
There was.
Well, we haven't heard it yet, but avoid hearsay.
Yes. As a part of your investigation, when you were investigating that case for trial?
I'm going to get the hearsay.
Don't elicit hearsay.
I won't elicit hearsay.
Because right now it sounds like she's testifying as a fact witness, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Did you get social media account for Mr. Fleetwood?
I didn't obtain records for it, but I reviewed some posts from his account.
From his public account?
Correct.
And have you had the opportunity to view those posts prior to your testimony today?
I have.
Permission to approach, Your Honor?
You may.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 479VV. Tell me if you recognize 479VV.
I do.
And how do you recognize 479VV?
That's a photo of Mr. Javon Fleetwood from his Instagram account.
And is that from his public Instagram account?
It is.
Right. And was that pulled in preparation for this indictment here that we are referencing, 22 SC 183572?
It was.
Right. Your Honor, this time the state would like to tender and admit 478VV into evidence.
Admitted.
Oh, excuse me, 479VV.
All right. Admitted.
And we'll publish that in a moment. Based on your investigation, do you know if Mr. Huey and Mr. Fleetwood had a friendship?
Yes.
Right. And had you seen any public social media accounts with both Mr. Fleetwood and Mr. Huey in those together?
I believe there were a few posts of them together that I reviewed.
Right. Now, I want to go to, I think, slide 10. And we're going to now publish 469VV. Four 471, 479VV. That's not it. And is that Mr. Fleetwood?
That is.
Okay. And what was his Instagram name?
4Trey_TV World.
And I want to zoom into his face. Do you see any tattoos? Do you see any tattoos on Mr. Fleetwood's face?
I do.
And specifically, do you see the tattoo with the star?
I do.
What is the tattoo next to the tattoo with the star?
So down the right side of his face by his temple, you'll see he has YSL tattooed on the right side of his face.
And now I'll go back to the next set of the former. States Exhibit 227 VV2A. Now I want to go to this conversation that starts on February 25th, 2020.
Okay.
Who is Mr. Huey speaking with?
Mr. Williams using his Los Angeles area code phone number.
And looking at this post, generally, what is the context of this text message conversation?
He sends a social media post of somebody else to Mr. Williams and says, "What's up with him? Is he cool?"
Okay. And then what was his next message to Mr. Williams' phone?
He's inquiring if the gentleman is cool, it looks, because he says he posted that racial expletive, Bloody J.
And are you familiar with that name or individual, Bloody J?
Yes.
Okay. And are you aware if he's associated with any gang?
Yes.
What gang is that?
He's associated with the YFN, or Atlanta Blood Gang, criminal street gangs.
And do you know Bloody J's given name?
Yes, it's Justin Ushery.
And have you had any investigation involving Mr. Ushery?
I have.
And then did Mr. Williams respond to his to Mr. Huey's inquiry?
He says, "Who is that?" To which Mr. Huey responds, "Duct Tape Dave."
And are you familiar with the individual by the name of Duct Tape Dave?
Yes.
How are you familiar with that name?
He's a pretty prominent guy within the duct tape criminal street gang.
Okay. And then was there a response to that?
It was.
Oh, and what was that?
Mr. Williams says, "He's a buster too," to which Mr. Huey responds, "Slat." And he tells Mr. Williams, "I told him, fuck them, racial expletive. He hit me back laughing and shit."
All right. Now I want to go to a tweet that begins on March 12th, 2020.
Okay.
Now, what is going on within this group of text messages on March 12th, 2020?
Mr. Williams initiates a conversation with Mr. Huey.
Okay. And what does Mr. Williams say in his initiation?
What y'all got going on?
Okay. And then is there a response?
He says, "Them, racial expletive, no, I ain't play no part in that slime."
All right. And then is there a response from Mr. Williams back to Mr. Huey?
He says, "Take that shit back."
And is there a response from Mr. Huey back to Mr. Williams?
Mr. Huey says, "I ain't get nothing out of that. I ain't even pulling no gun on nobody. I'm finna tell them though."
All right. And does he make another response?
He said, I told him I ain't finna do that shit. He went on and did it. I couldn't stop him.
And then does Mr. Williams respond to that?
Mr. Williams says, if he don't take it back, he's gonna die.
And looking at this text message, without going into detail, were you aware of any police reports around this event of March 12, 2020?
Objection, I hear, sir.
Overruled.
Were you aware of any police reports regarding any incidents around this date?
I was.
Okay. Now, I want to go to 227 VV 2B. And in looking at 227 VV 2B, was there a text message on November 14, 2021?
There was.
Okay. And who sent the message?
Mr. Huey sends the message to Mr. Williams' LA area code phone number.
Okay. And what does the message say?
It says, you know, I'm ready to handle the business and go sit down if I got to about any one of y'all on my mama.
Now I'm going to approach, I'm going to show you what's been marked as 428 VV. Tell me if you recognize Stacey Dibbitt 428 VV.
I do.
And how do you recognize Stacey Dibbitt 428 VV?
This is a photo from Mr. Huey's public Instagram account.
And is that, what was his account name?
__ Quay1.
And were you familiar with that Instagram post for Mr. Huey?
I was.
And were you able to pull that Instagram post in preparation for this case here today?
I was.
You know, at this time, the state would like to tender tender 428 VV into evidence.
I'm sorry, 28,
428 VV.
Okay. Admitted.
And permission to publish.
You may.
And who is depicted in this picture?
That's going to be Mr. Huey standing with Mr. Williams.
And is there a caption?
There is.
What's the caption?
It reads, from lockdown to a jet, slap biz.
All right. And is there a date to that post?
September 4th.